Peace, love, and abundance of all things good to you, amazing, beautiful people. It's your girl V back with another episode of the Voiced by V podcast. What's up, beautiful people? Happy Wednesday. All things love, light, honor, blessings, joy, happiness, abundance, prosperity, all the good things that life has to offer simply because you deserve it. It's your birthright. It's my birthright. We are innately abundant, innately beautiful, innately joyful, innately in tune with our highest, and it's time to get back to that every single moment. Even when we stray away, it's just like, okay, we experienced some contrast, we had a moment in this human experience, and now it's time to experience what it is, what it feels like to feel like yourself again. You know what I mean? So I'm always gonna come with that energy because that's what life is honestly supposed to be like. It's supposed to be joyful. It's supposed to be beautiful, even in the midst of the struggle, even in the midst of, you know, the evil that we experience, even in the midst of the contrast and the disappointment and the horror stories, even in the midst of the darkness, there is so much beauty. There is so much success. There is so much gracefulness, so much patience. And so much joy that's embedded in that, and you deserve to feel all of that. You know what I mean? So anyway, happy Wednesday. We are a little bit late this week, and that is simply because I am still adjusting to this podcast schedule. So thank you for just still tuning in, still supporting me, being graceful and patient with me on my journey. And I am grateful to myself and happy that I'm showing up in spite of being a little late or whatever, simply because I'm building, okay? Because I'm building it because of what? Because God is blessing. And you're always going to hear me say that simply because that is what I am truly embodying in this season of my life. That is something that I want to continue reminding myself of. That is a promise that I have made to myself. And it's truly a lifestyle choice, a lifestyle embodiment for me. So today I want to talk about being less radical in your approach to change. Okay, that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to jump right into it. Being less radical in your approach to change. And I want to talk about this because change is the most constant thing of this human experience, of life in general. Change, the change of the seasons, the change of your appearance, the change of your feelings and emotions, the change of your life circumstances, the change of what your body may feel like, the change of your mindset. You are always forever growing, expanding, evolving. And with that comes change. And if we are not able to adapt to change, we will see that we'll feel like we're dying out. We feel like we're withering out. We feel like we're not able to catch up and just be in harmony with what is present. And when we're out of harmony with what is present, then we ourselves are not able to expand. We're not able to grow. We're not able to experience that joy and happiness and abundance that I was talking about a little earlier. So it's very important to embrace change. It's also very important to have systems in place for ourselves to embrace that change, so that we're going through the changes and the evolutions of life, but in a graceful way, in a patient way, in a way that goes with the flows and the ebbs and flows of life. I also wanted to talk about this because just observing my own life and observing loved ones, clients, students, having everyday conversations with everyday people, right? Change, again, it is the most constant. Therefore, it is almost at the root of every interaction that we have. We're always trying to change something about our life circumstances, whether it's our health and wellness journey, whether it's our financial situation, whether it's our job, career, life's passion, life's work, whether it's our physical appearance, right? Whether we want to gain or lose weight, whether we want to start adorning ourselves differently, dressing differently, buying new clothes, whether we want to change our scenery, change location, live somewhere different, travel overseas, experience more vacationing, or having more travel experiences, whether we want to learn something new, learn a new language, um, whatever it is, right? That is always at the center of the interactions that I have, and even the interactions with myself. And I realized that many times humans want to go from zero. I call it going from zero to 100, or from zero to that, from zero to fully embodied in the thing that we are trying to transform into. And if life has shown me anything thus far, is that it does not work like that. It doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't. Change, sustainable change. Sustainability has been one of those words that have been very integral in my lifestyle practice, because I realized that change can happen. Change can absolutely happen overnight. Change can happen in a moment. But if we want to sustain the change that we are making, if we want to sustain, then we are going to have to accept that this process is going to take time, and it is going to happen gradually. It is definitely going to happen in baby steps. And too often do we not recognize baby steps or little progress as progress. It's still progress. It's still movement forward. It's still movement in the direction that you wish to go. And that is so important in remembering why we're here, remembering our journey, remembering the foundation of what you're doing and why you're doing it. And also, too many times we get overwhelmed when we're trying to implement change in our lives, because, again, we're trying to go from zero to fully embodied of the thing. We're like, okay, perfect example, your fitness journey or your just health and wellness journey in general. Many times I'm often having conversations around diet, around working out, around, physical vitality and physical health and wellness. And, humans often start out that communication with their frustration, with the pain point of like, oh, I'm too heavy, I'm gaining too much weight. Oh my gosh, my face is breaking out too much, or I'm experiencing whatever skin conditions, or I'm having respiratory issues, or my family has a history of diabetes or high blood pressure, and I don't want to succumb to those health conditions, and I really want to make this lifestyle change, right? So one of the first steps is like experiencing that frustration with where you have been, where you currently are, and you feel like the only way to get rid of that frustration now, it's so painful and it's so overwhelmingly bothersome for you that you just want to get it quick, right? You want a quick fix, you want it out of the way. And this is actually where most people get tricked into these fad challenges, these quick fixes, the buy it now weight loss pills, or I don't know, right? Nothing is really coming off the top of my head that's too specific, but you know what I mean, like these quick fixes. And the problem with that is, yeah, it may slap a band-aid over the issue, but again, what you're not building is something sustainable, because that is going to eventually wear down, because you're not giving the process enough respect and honoring the integrity of the process, which eventually gets you to that desired result. It's the process that changes you. It's not the thing. And this is kind of what I talked about last episode, is that we so much desire to change our situations that we're willing to do the microwavable steps. We're willing to just be like, I don't want to be frustrated no more. I don't want to be in pain anymore. I don't want to feel sick anymore. I don't want to be tired anymore. Give me the thing that's quick. Give me the thing that's going to change my situation. Not understanding that that thing is just a facade. It's just a facade. It really is. It's all smoke and mirrors. Because what actually creates the change is the process. And that process, creating that change, then leads to sustainability. Because now you have really changed from the inside. You have really become and developed a different the characteristics in order to maintain this change that you're making in your life. And so this topic came to fruition for me because I'll give you an example. I was at work one day and I was just like, like I haven't been in my creative. I'm always creating and I'm always a creative naturally. But in terms of writing, music, poetry, being in that element, I haven't been in that vibe in a while. And so I was thinking to myself, like, yo, I'm inspired. I had just got invited out to one of my homeboys' album release parties and or listening event. And it was dope. It was fire. It was so dope. It was so beautiful, inspiring to be around artists, to be consuming the art, to see this movement happen from the ground up, to be a part of the process, to experience the love and support that my artist friend was getting from the community. And it was just fire. And I love being in it. Shout out to Focus. I was so inspired, and I think I was at work the next day, and I was like, I need to go out to an open mic, or I need to go out to, again, just to be around this vibe more. And my immediate resolve for feeling like this, right, for correcting this behavior, my immediate resolve for making this change in my life was, all right, I'm gonna find me an open mic this week, and I'm gonna make sure I go to an open mic twice a week. And then it was just like, whoa. We're working on a lot. We're doing a lot. You may not have the capacity for all of that. And you don't need to do all of that in order to step into your creative bag in this way. You really don't. Maybe it'll take only one musically creative or writing event a month. Maybe you can start there because you're working on a lot. You got a full-time job and you are building your business. You're working on this course. You're going to the gym. You got a grocery shop. You got to take care of mommy. You got to do all of these things, right? So you may not have the energetic or even physical capacity to show up for this thing twice a week, once a week. But maybe you can commit to once a month. And it's those kind of conversations that are truly so supportive when building systems to support the change we want to create in our lives. Period. It is those conversations that force us to be more realistic with where we currently are. And it is okay to say, I do not have the capacity for all of that, but I can still show up. You can still show up little by little to things that you want to do. And you can spread out the timeline of how you're showing up to these things, because you have to be realistic that you have a full life. The whole package of your life consists of so many pieces of the pie, right? Whether it's your health and wellness, doing meal prep, showing up for your family, showing up for your children, showing up as a daughter, showing up as a partner, wife, husband, showing up as all of the different hats that you wear. And each piece of the pie truly deserves 100% of your capacity, of your awareness, of your the energy that your best. Each piece of the pie deserves your best. So if you're overdoing it in one piece, the other pieces are going to be neglected, and then you're still not going to feel whole. You're still going to not feel fulfilled. And so again, the answer is to create a system and carve out space and time for to show up for each thing. You know what I mean? Be, again, less radical with your approach to change. If you want to be vegan, if you want to clean up your diet, if you want to clean up your relationship with food, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen cold turkey. It's just not. You can do it. You can try it. It's your life and it's your process. And if that's what you feel called to do, I genuinely support that. However, a better way, in my opinion and in my experience, is to wean yourself off. So if you are not vegan at all, if you still eat a lot of junk food, if you still incorporate a lot of meat and dairy products into your diet, all you have to do is begin with a meatless Monday, for example, or simply incorporating more salads, more fresh fruit, maybe get a fruit juice on your night out instead of a soda. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, maybe for lunch when you go out with your friends, you get the salad instead of the pasta, or you get the salad in addition to the pasta. You know what I mean? Like, you make these small the word just left me, but you make these small changes along the way. And it happens in steps. It doesn't happen. You're not going to go from 0 to 100. And what's going to happen is that you're naturally going to burn yourself out in that process, trying to go from here. I'm so frustrated. I'm experiencing this pain point. And by tomorrow, I'm fasting. How many times have I done that? Or how many times have you done that? To where you was wilding out for the weekend, or you was wilding out for the past 2 or 3 weeks in terms of what you've been eating, and you've been going in to the point where it's like, damn, this is kind of disgusting. Like, I'm eating too much bullshit. I am not working out. I'm not moving my body. I'm watching too much TV. I'm consuming too much social media. I haven't been showing up for myself in the healthiest way. And then Monday morning comes and you're like, I'm fasting today. Sorry, Mike. I'm fasting today. Like, again, 0 to 100, 0 to fully embodied. Instead, wean yourself off. That next day, integrate a green juice along with whatever the hell you were eating. And then that next day after that, integrate 2 green juices. And then maybe have an apple for breakfast. Whatever it is. So this is how we can be more graceful in the process and still create change, because you are still creating change. If you integrate these little lifestyle changes into the lifestyle that already exists for you, you're still creating change, right? And you're on your way to that sustainable lifestyle. Well, maybe every day you're making or consuming a green juice, where every day you're having an apple for breakfast, where every day you're not eating any meat or dairy products, right? But that's a little more down the line. You have to be able to be realistic with yourself, and you have to be able to be honest with yourself. You have to have honest conversations with yourself and assess exactly where you are. And that is the only way to create change, to create sustainable change. Again, the name of the game is sustainable change. It's not just change, because we all change every day. But if you're going to change, if you're going to make a positive change just to change back into the painful habits and behaviors that you were exhibiting that made you want to change into that positive change in the first place, what is the point? What's the point? You just hustling backwards. You wasting time, you wasting energy. It's like, do it right from the beginning. And you do it right from the beginning by being honest with yourself, by assessing exactly where you are. And this is why it's so important to know thyself. This is why that exists. Know thyself. It's nothing cryptic. It's nothing like you gotta go into the depths of history and no, know and assess exactly where and who the fuck you are right now. And be honest with yourself. You don't have to be, when you assess yourself, you don't have to create the pressure of sharing it with the world. First of all, the world already sees you. That was a laugh and a hiccup. The world already sees you. Right? Meaning that you don't have anything to prove to anybody. It's all about you and you. It's all about you. So when you get to the point of sitting down with yourself and say, okay, for real, like, let me take inventory on my life. How much money am I making? What have I been eating? Where do I live? Whom do I live with? What's my social life like? Who are my friends? Who are my acquaintances? Who are my peers? What are the conversations that I'm having? Who do I be talking about? What do I be talking about? What am I consuming? What's the information that I'm reading? Am I reading? Am I watching too much TV? Am I scrolling too much on social media? What am I creating? What are my passions? What are my interests? What's my favorite color? The same shit that you would ask someone when you're dating them or you're vetting them to be a part of your life. You should know about yourself. You should know about yourself. Right? What are my strengths? What are my areas of opportunities? Where can I grow? Where do I have the opportunities to expand? What do I need to cut back from? And this is what I call taking inventory on your life. And this process does not stop. Because again, we're always constantly changing, evolving, growing. We're just constantly different. We're different versions of ourselves as life progresses. So it's extremely important to get to know who you are, where you are right now. And then the second part to this is where you want to be, where you want to go, who you want to be. So all of these, the answers to this current inventory, and then what is this in comparison to what I want to be doing, right? What's the type of diet and lifestyle that I prefer for myself, that I want for myself? Where is my dream location to live? What do I want to be doing for work, for money, for my passions? What type of conversations do I want to be having? Who do I want in my social circles? Who do I want to be doing business with? Who are the people that I want to share time and space with? Right? Where are the places that I want to travel to? What type of experiences that I desire to have? And from these two lists or lists of inventory, you get to compare it. And this is where you get to assess what you need to be doing. So now from where you are, where you want to be, now you can integrate into the middle ground and say, okay, what do I need to do to get from here to here? And then it's, am I doing that? And then so every day, every moment, we all have the same 24 hours. So every moment becomes a moment to assess, for you to be like, okay, am I going in the direction that I said I wanted to go? Am I, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I going in the direction that I said I wanted to go? And so I'll reel this back in and I'll make it, I probably said this in past episodes, but it's so true to my current life. It's so true to my present. I am delivering on my promise to myself. Period. When I got my job and I got my car back on the road, and I'm like, it kind of felt like a second wave of life. After I made it through something really dark and traumatic last year, I made a promise to myself because it felt like a second chance at life. It felt like the slate was wiped clean. It felt like, hey, yeah, you get to rebuild. Yeah, you at the so-called bottom, or yeah, you don't have anything, but you also have everything. And you have the experience, you have the wisdom, you have the wisdom of the experiences that you have grown through. And that's everything. Right? So with that, what are you going to do with it? And I made this promise to myself that I'm going to show up at the fullest capacity. And I'm going to remove all the external factors that I used to factor into why I should show up and how I should show up. And I decided I'm going to do it for me. I said I owe this to myself because I'm talented, I'm gifted, I'm beautiful. And, the list goes on. The list goes on. I said I owe this to myself first because I know how capable I am. I owe this to myself first because I see my potential. And I would not be happy, fulfilled, joyful, feeling abundant and prosperous. I wouldn't even feel worthy of receiving the life that I feel like I want if I'm not showing up for it. If I'm not even showing up for myself in the fullest capacity. If I'm not showing up to operate in my natural gifts and talents. If I'm not showing up for my life's passions. If I'm not showing up to do the things that help and grow the economy and the people around me, if I'm not doing the things to uplift my family, if I'm not doing the things to contribute to this world in any way, I wouldn't even feel worthy of receiving. And I don't want to live in a world like that. I don't want to live in a world where I don't feel worthy of receiving. So I had to show up. And what I'm saying to you is that began with being less radical in my approach to going from zero to fully embodied. That began with integrating these small changes in my lifestyle. That began with keeping the tiniest promises to myself. If I tell myself I'm going to wash the dishes before I leave this house, I'm washing them dishes. And if I don't get to it before I leave the house, make sure I get to it before I go to bed that night. I'm washing these goddamn dishes. Now, sometimes I don't have the energetic or physical capacity. And sometimes, hey, it may go to tomorrow. And even then, I give myself the grace. But the next available time I have to make good on that promise to myself, I make sure that I do it. When I tell myself I'm showing up for these set of squats that I said I was going to do today, oh, trust and believe, I have gotten out of bed, comfy ass bed, and got to do that set of squats for the day. And sometimes I didn't, and sometimes it rolled over to tomorrow. And this is why it's a perfect balance. It has to be a perfect balance of offering yourself grace, but not playing yourself. Don't play yourself and don't play with yourself. You know when you serious, and you know when you just being fucking lazy. And this is the last thing I'll add here is that I have also, I heard or read this somewhere, and the way it fucking resonated, the way I just was able to see this differently, I started to see that laziness, procrastination, not showing up for myself, sleeping on myself, guess what? I started to classify that as a spiritual attack. Those are some ways that a spiritual attack can be embodied or show up in your life. When you feel like, yo, depression is taking over me. When you feel like, damn, I'm just so lethargic. When you feel like, damn, I'm only able to sit here and scroll on Instagram. I'm only able to keep clicking next episode on this Netflix show. When you feel like, damn, I'm only able to keep eating the bullshit that I'm eating, and I don't want an apple, I don't want a vegetable, I don't want no fruits, I don't want no. When you get in that bag, you have to recognize that these are all self-sabotaging behaviors. And you also have to recognize that this is not the true you. So if you can see this from a different lens, that this is a spiritual attack. This is what the opposition, whatever you want to call it, right? Which is really you, because you have every right and all the ability to rewrite this narrative, and all it takes is a moment, and all it takes is a decision. But baby, once I started to view it as a spiritual attack, I pray myself out of it. I try my best. It's not 100%. Okay, I always keep it a buck with you. It's not 100% for me, but sometimes the perspective that you have on certain things allows you to move in a different way. And so hopefully you could take that with you and realize that that is not you. When you're feeling lazy and depressed and down and lethargic and clouded and heavy and just all of these things, and down on yourself and ruminating and having negative self-talk and not feeling inspired and not feeling motivated, the answer isn't to really lean into that. You cannot lean into it. You can't do more of it. Yes, sometimes you have to, because you're human. Sometimes you have to, because you're human. And other times, majority of the time, you have to activate the God, spirit, source energy within you. You got to do that. I can't do it for you. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to learn how to do that for yourself. And this is how over time you create the sustainable change. You have to also you have to have a set of practices, rituals, devotionals that you can lean on in times of uncertainty. For me, that is breath work, yoga, going to the gym, journaling. Mainly it's breath work and yoga for me personally, but whatever it is for you, you have to make sure that you can lean on that, because that's what's going to save you. Once you lean on that practice, trust and believe, that is building your foundation. That is strengthening you. It's fortifying you, and it's activating the spirit, source, God energy within you. And that's what's going to get you. That's what's going to ward off that spiritual attack. That's what's going to get you moving again. That's what's going to bring you back to yourself and allow you to remember the power that you have in order to keep going. To, again, remember those two lists. What I'm doing and where I am right now, where I want to be. What do I need to be doing to get from here to here? What are the action steps? The action steps look like keeping that promise to yourself. And it looks like integrating those small changes, right? Gradually into your life. It looks like scheduling, taking time to schedule out different things. Schedule your joy. So for me, again, the example that I used was going out to an open mic, or, performing my poetry, maybe recording a poetry video, sharing my art, whatever it is, getting in that bag, going to the studio, recording something, linking up with my friend, having a writing session. Sometimes we have jam sessions. These are the things that light my soul up. These are the things that really contribute to my passions. These are the things that really make me feel godly, because I'm in my creative energy. And so me personally, I have to make sure that I'm scheduling my joy, I'm scheduling my passions. And maybe that doesn't look like every day, or maybe that cannot look like every week, but maybe it can look like every month. Maybe it can look like every quarter. Maybe it can look like once a year. Maybe it can look like twice a year. Okay, so just take whatever applies and integrate it into your life the way that you see fit. And I hope this was really helpful and impactful in terms of being less radical in your approach to change and making it a gradual, accepting that it is a gradual process. Really avoiding burnout, avoiding that quick burn, that, these microwavable processes. Life don't work like that. Please enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because this is where your character is developed. I used to listen to Jim Rohn a lot, and one of the things that he talks about is allowing, like, go for the biggest goal, right? Go for the big, scary, ugly goal, the thing that you think is so unattainable. Go for that goal, simply because it's not about achieving the goal. It is about who you become in the process of even attempting to achieve that goal. It's about who you become. So the type of person with the type of characteristics that you have to be, that one would have to be in order to have that thing, be that thing, embody that thing, hold that thing, sustain that thing, that's the goal. And you only get that in the journey. So continue to love on yourself, beautiful. I love you. I love you. I love you. I will see you in the next episode. Peace, love, abundance of all things beautiful, good, loving, abundant, joyful, prosperous. And I'll see you next time. Also, I always have to do a drop. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram at @the_veganese. That's VEGANEASE. Also, visit my website, www.veganesellc.com. There you can find my wildcrafted Antiguan sea moss gel, which is currently on sale, as well as Intro to Vegan, which is an introductory self-paced vegan course. So if you are on your conscious eating journey and you really need help and support, and you want to be able to adapt the tools and all of the gems that I have picked up along my 10-year vegan journey, all you have to do is go to my website and sign up for that. And again, I'll see you in the next episode.